What's happening, good people? This gift here for Payusnomind, and let's talk about music as an asset class. Now, make sure you hit up the description box for links and discounts to products and services we recommend. Now, y'all might have heard about Justin Bieber selling the rights to his music to Hypnosis Media for $200 million. Or Dr. Dre selling the rights to his catalog to Universal Music Group for $200 million as well. Now, you have had other companies pop up, like Sonomo and others, that are now selling the licensing rights to music and music royalties as securities, which is effectively stocks, an ownership stake, equity. Now, some of these companies are selling the rights, and some are just selling the rights to the royalties. The difference, if you sell the rights and your music gets placed in a movie, that money goes to whoever owns the rights. If you sell the royalties, like an ownership stake in your streaming royalties, and you get a song placed in a movie, that revenue goes to you, because the investor is only entitled to the revenue generated by streams. Now, we can thank companies like Robinhood, the emergence of crypto, NFTs, and the whole Wall Street bets GameStop fiasco for introducing a whole new generation of investors, young teenage investors. And with this group, acquiring assets and trading assets is no longer a foreign concept. You got teenagers making thousands of dollars trading NFTs and cryptocurrencies and stocks on Robinhood. And that has introduced them to the concept of it, where opening the door to doing it with music is just the natural progression. Now, what is music's appeal as an asset class? For that, let's take a trip down the lane of private equity. You look at a startup like Clubhouse, where they don't really have a pathway towards monetization. What investors are investing in is growth, not revenue. They're not really looking for Clubhouse to make money. What they're looking at is downloads, active users, effectively popularity metrics. And the more popular Clubhouse becomes, the greater the valuation, which is what the company is worth. So investors pump money in order to pump the valuation so the company becomes worth more money. And the off-ramp for the investors is when that company either gets acquired by a bigger company at that valuation, or it goes public and becomes stock that you can purchase on an app like Robinhood. And that's when the investors make their money back, get their return on their investment. Now, when you or I go to Robinhood and purchase stock in a company, an equity stake, effectively, that does not entitle us to revenue from that company. So you go and buy stock in a company at $15 a share. You're basically waiting for it to go up to $20 a share or $25 a share so you can flip it for a profit. Or you're waiting for it to get acquired and taken private, like what happened with Elon Musk and Twitter. So you're talking about maybe a 10-year wait for that company to get acquired or go public. So that money is just locked up for 10 years. And with the stock market, you're talking about money being locked up and just sitting there waiting for the stock price to magically increase based on conditions that they don't control. Now, music royalties generates money. So over time, it pays for itself. And in addition to the fact that the royalties recoup what was invested, there is also the fact that the asset can be flipped. So the same way you buy stock for $15 and then can sell it when it hits $25 or whatever, is the same way you would be able to flip your equity stake in the music. If you pay attention to the markets, when the federal government decides to raise the interest rates, what happens with the value of stock? It plummets. So the share price of Apple stock and Amazon stock goes down when the federal government decides to raise the interest rates. Things like pandemics have an impact on the value of the share prices of these different companies. But those things do not impact streams and the consumption of music. When times get hard, people tend to dive deeper into music and entertainment. So, what's in it for the artist? How does this benefit the artist? A lot of these platforms are allowing artists and, let's say, rights holders the ability to just sell a percentage of their ownership stake or their royalties. And for me personally, I like royalties more than an ownership stake in like the actual licensing. So an artist can sell 10% of their royalties or 20% of their royalties, which allows them to maintain ownership of the music and also revenue from all other sources. So they could get a song placed in a movie and still collect 100% of that revenue. They could sell music on their website and still collect 100% of that revenue while leveraging the streams for upfront cash. Creates a situation where they have a group of investors who now have an interest in their success and the success of their music. So somebody who's a music supervisor could buy an equity stake in your royalties and then put your music in a film to increase the value of their equity stake. Somebody who's a mix show DJ could put your music in rotation to increase the value of their equity stake. So it creates a whole other level of incentive for fans and anybody that purchases an equity stake to work to help you and do things to assist in your growth and development as an artist. Let's look at a use case. You have a platform selling shares of a song by Katy Perry, 363 shares, going for $100 a share. Now, that song generates about $11 per year per share. So each share is worth about $11 a year. And that would take the investor around 8 years to recoup the cost of their investment. After 8 years, they'd be getting $11 annually in profit. Now, collectively, she loses about $4,000 annually in revenue. But at $100 per share, she gains over $36,000 up front, which is effectively an 8-year advance, which could be for an ownership stake in her royalties, just her sound recording royalties, not even the publishing. So she would still be able to make revenue from the publishing end of her streaming royalties, as well as licensing the music to like TV shows and commercials and things of that nature. And on top of that, selling the music direct to fan on her website, digital downloads, vinyl records, CDs, all of those things she would still be able to do because the only thing investors are making money from are the streams. Now, I'll be diving deeper into platforms selling music as an asset class, as well as individual music assets on the Payusnomind website. So you can head there, become a member. It's free to do, and you can follow us on this journey. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you can get notified when we upload something new. As always, y'all can hit me up at Payusnomind on Instagram, at Payusnomind on Twitter, payusnomind@gmail.com. This is Gift signing off. Payusnomind. Peace, good people. 1.